Imagine you are a football fan in the year 1999, and you have just watched a 23-year-old Brazilian destroy every defender on the planet. He is not just fast, he is fast with the ball. Not just strong, he is strong with grace. Not just clinical, he finishes with the cold smile of someone who already knew the ball was going in before he kicked it.
His name is Ronaldo Luis Nazário de Lima. And in November 1999, during an Inter Milan training session, his left knee gives out. Not a twist, not a strain, a complete rupture of the patellar tendon. He is rushed to hospital. The doctors say he may never play again.
Today we ask the question that haunts every football fan who was alive to see it. What if Ronaldo Nazário, R9, never got injured?
Before we get into the alternate timeline, we need to establish something. We need to truly understand what was already in front of us, because most younger fans only know the heavy-set limping R9 who won the 2002 World Cup. They don't know the version from before. At Barcelona, in just one season, he scored 34 goals in 37 games. He won the Copa del Rey, the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, and the Spanish Cup. He dribbled past 5 defenders like they were traffic cones, and then he calmly slotted the ball into the bottom corner like he'd done it 1,000 times. Because he had. Every day in training. Every day since he was a boy, kicking balls barefoot in Bento Ribeiro, a favela outside Rio de Janeiro. At 21, he was FIFA World Player of the Year. Already. At 21. And he wasn't even close to his peak.
1999, age 23. Patellar tendon rupture in training with Inter Milan. Misses the rest of the season. Returns, but is never the same physically. 2000, age 24. Suffers a second rupture, this time of the quadriceps tendon, just 8 months after returning. Doctors fear for his career. He is out for over a year. 2002, age 26. Returns for the World Cup. Scores twice in the final against Germany. The world calls it miraculous, but those who watched him in 1997 know it is only a ghost of what once was. 2011, age 34. Retires. Weight issues. Knee deterioration. Officially done. Goes out, by his own account, at perhaps 60% of what he could have been. 4 years of his prime, his absolute unrepeatable prime, were swallowed by operating tables and physio rooms. Not one injury, 2, back to back. The football world held its breath twice, and twice something irreversible happened. The greatest athlete of his generation was robbed by his own body.
What happens next? In the real timeline, Ronaldo won 1 Ballon d'Or before the injuries, in 1997. He won it again in 2002 on the strength of the World Cup. But from 1998 to 2001, he was essentially absent. Those were the years Rivaldo and Zinedine Zidane swept the awards. Those were the years Ronaldo should have dominated. With 4 more healthy seasons in his prime, he would conservatively have won the Ballon d'Or in 1999, 2000, and 2001. Combined with 1997 and 2002, that is 5 Ballon d'Ors, possibly 6. And it's not just the numbers, it's how he would have done it. In those 4 lost years, he would have been playing for Inter Milan at the peak of Serie A's global prestige. He would have been leading Brazil with full health through qualification campaigns and Copa Americas. He would have been the dominant player in the sport at a time when the sport had no true dominant player. The throne was empty, and R9 was the rightful king.
Does he stay at Inter? Does the Galacticos era exist? But in our timeline, healthy R9, Inter have no reason to sell. He is their crown jewel. A healthy 26-year-old Ronaldo in his prime would have been utterly untransferable. Inter would have been Champions League contenders with him anchoring the attack. Here's the ripple effect. Without R9 available, does Florentino Perez still build the Galacticos? The Galacticos project, Zidane, Figo, Beckham, Roberto Carlos, was anchored by the idea of assembling the world's biggest names. Ronaldo in 2002 was one of those names. But a healthy Ronaldo at Inter Milan in 2000? He's probably the biggest name in football. He doesn't move. And the Galacticos, at least as we know them, possibly never form. Or, and this is the more cinematic version, maybe Perez makes an even more audacious move. Maybe he smashes the world transfer record to bring a healthy 25-year-old Ronaldo to Madrid. A fully fit R9 at Real Madrid in his prime, with Zidane creating for him, that is not a football team. That is an extinction event for every other club in Europe.
We cannot talk about R9's injuries without talking about France 1998, specifically the night before the final, when Ronaldo suffered what many believe was a stress-induced seizure in the team hotel. He was taken to hospital. His name was removed from the starting lineup. Hours later, mysteriously, he was re-added. Brazil lost 3-0 to a Zinedine Zidane-inspired France. Ronaldo played as a ghost of himself. No goals, no dribbles, barely there. In our alternate world, a healthy Ronaldo, unencumbered by injury pressure at the peak of his powers, changes that final entirely. The pressure to perform before another knee gives way doesn't exist. The seizure, likely triggered by mental and physical strain, makeup? Probably yes. That version of Brazil, with Ronaldo at 21, fully healthy, fully electric, was terrifying. Zidane is magnificent, but R9 at his best makes the outcome genuinely unpredictable. And if Brazil win in France, Ronaldo wins 3 World Cups as a realistic possibility. 1994, squad role, 1998, and 2002. That would make him, statistically, the greatest in the tournament's history.
Does he surpass Pelé? Here is the uncomfortable truth about the GOAT debate. Pelé's legendary status rests on a combination of statistics that are notoriously difficult to verify, and a career played in an era before global football truly existed. He is undoubtedly one of the greatest, but the numbers, especially the 1,000 goal claim, are built heavily on friendlies and regional Brazilian competitions. Ronaldo, playing in the most competitive football era yet seen, in Serie A and La Liga and the Champions League, with a fully healthy body, would have produced the most verifiable, undeniable statistical record in football history.
We spend a lot of time talking about goals and trophies, but there is a human being inside those statistics. And Ronaldo Nazário has always been extraordinarily honest about what the injuries cost him, not just as a footballer, but as a person. The weight issues that plagued his later career were, in part, a direct consequence of knee surgeries that restricted his ability to train as he once had. His body, once the most perfectly calibrated machine in sport, became something he had to fight against rather than trust. He has spoken about the loneliness of hospital rooms, about watching teammates play from a sofa, about the fear every time he returned that the knee might go again. A healthy Ronaldo isn't just a better statistical story. It is a more joyful human being, playing the sport he loved for longer, at the level he deserved. That is the real loss.
What he still achieved is extraordinary. 2002 World Cup final. That smile. The buck-toothed grin. Goals against Germany. The celebration. And here is the final, most extraordinary thing about Ronaldo Nazário. Even broken, even reduced, even fighting through the wreckage of his own body, he still managed to be transcendent. The 2002 World Cup performance, 2 goals in the final, 8 in the tournament, the best player in the world at an event many assumed he was only attending as a courtesy.
is one of the greatest sporting comebacks ever witnessed. He willed himself back into the conversation. He refused, stubbornly, beautifully, to be remembered as what almost was. He won 2 World Cups, 2 Ballon d'Ors. He is the World Cup's joint top scorer of all time, with 15 goals. He changed the way the striker position was understood. No one before him had combined his specific cocktail of pace, power, technique, and finishing. No one since has quite replicated it.
The day Ronaldo got injured was the saddest day in football history. Not because of what he lost, but because of what we all lost. Roberto Carlos. The injuries did not erase what he was. They only interrupted what he could have been. And even interrupted, he was still the greatest striker who ever laced up a boot. The real one. Always will be. Without the injuries, Ronaldo Nazário would not merely have been the greatest of his generation. He would have been, beyond any reasonable argument, the greatest footballer in history. 5 Ballon d'Ors, 3 World Cups, a career that ended on his own terms. What we got was a miracle. What we lost was a dynasty.